Well, a good Friday morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Glad to have you along with us. The Gardener's Corner program, a Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Charter Communications Channel 191, also on WKRX 96.7 FM. The Gardener's Corner program today is brought to you by Sandline Golf Cars, T.G. Brooks Company, and Goings Auctions. We'll be telling you all about those fine supporting sponsors along the way. Should you have the opportunity to send some business our way, please do so. They would greatly appreciate it, and they would enjoy hearing from you that you appreciate their support of the Gardener's Corner program. Well, without further ado, I would like to make welcome all the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, a man that gets up and he's ready for business, no matter what the business may be at hand, whether it's giving a lecture,
monkey business,
tending to monkey grass, playing the clarinet, or just being a good old pal and friend. Please make welcome Mr. Carl Cantalupe.
Oh, crescendo and decrescendo. Very good, Rob.
A good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning.
Carl, I hope that you and yours doing well and looking forward to the Christmas season.
Mm-hmm. You bet.
Want to pass this information along. This is a pre-recorded edition of the Gardener's Corner program. A lot of time I blame it on Carl about having other things going on, but it was actually myself that had something going on today, the reason that we had to pre-record the program. But good Lord willing, we'll be back in the studio live next week. But should you have a question that you would like to get an answer to within the next few days or so, you can call up to the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Services Person County Office, 336-599-1195. Leave a message for Carl, and he will call you back if you are not able to catch him in the office. And Carl actually divides his time between Person and Granville counties. So a few days a week he's in the Person County office. A few days a week he's in the Granville office. And every now and again, when the weather's permitting, he's out in the field, talking to people and taking care of things. So he stays busy and doesn't let a lot of grass grow under his feet, so to speak.
Try not to, anyway.
But, Carl, we'll jump right in, and I brought a question along with me today.
All right, very good.
My neighbor was asking over the weekend about some Nandina bushes.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or otherwise known as heavenly bamboo is the common name for it. Mm-hmm.
Heavenly bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was asking about wanting to trim them back, and she doesn't know if it's a good time to do it or should she wait till maybe February or early March, or when is the proper time to prune them back?
That's correct. In February, early March. With Nandina, we have as the shrub gets older, it produces many large, thick canes, and so the best way to prune Nandinas is to rejuvenate them, and that means taking out several of the large, thick canes right at ground level, because the new canes that will come up will produce flowers and berries, that year. So go ahead and thin out the older canes. This gives the shrubs better air circulation, so they're not crowded, and then this encourages the growth of new canes every year.
And again, you'd say the common name is heavenly bamboo.
That's right.
All right, that's interesting. It sure is. So, we'll be talking about Christmas trees, maybe poinsettias, may even touch on mistletoe. But Carl, you brought some information in from the Person County Beekeepers Association.
Right,
today.
that's right, Rob. Every year, the Person County Beekeepers have a course that they sponsor for people that want to learn how to keep bees. They meet at the Person County Extension Office throughout the year, and the president asked me to pass on this information along. So the beginning beekeeping class will start January 14th, 2016, and I'm assuming that's a Thursday. It will last for 9 weeks, and we'll also have a field day. So these will meet Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Person County Extension Office, 304 South Morgan Street in Roxborough, and the classes will be held in the auditorium. The cost is $50 per person or $75 per couples. And again, this course is designed for beginners. It's also a great refresher course for current beekeepers to enhance their general beekeeping skills. Knowledgeable instructors will cover the history of beekeeping and getting started to seasonal management and the treatment of pests and diseases. This course has it all. The option to take the written certification exam will be available during the last scheduled class and field day meetings. The class size is limited, so pre-registration is not required, but it is recommended because of limited space. And so to reserve a spot in the class, complete the pre-registration form online, which is at www.personcountybeekeepers.org. Again, that's www.personcountybeekeepers.org, or you can contact Debbie Harrelson at the Extension Office at 599-1195. So, again, this is for the Person County Beekeepers Association, their class that is held annually, and it will start January 14th, Thursday evenings at the Extension Office from 7 to 9 p.m., and this will go on for 9 weeks, and they'll also have a field day as well. So,
Well, Carl, we would certainly like to encourage anyone that has an interest in beekeeping to make it your plans to be at that meeting coming up on January 14th of 2016 at the Person County office building. And, bees are very vital
very important.
to more or less fruits and vegetables, and they are the biggest pollinators of a lot of different crops. And so bees are friendly, although most people, when they think of bees, they think of them as being a pest and something that can inflict pain.
I'll have to tell you a story. This is actually a funny story that relates to bees. I might have mentioned this to you off the air, but this is fine. This is okay for on air.
Oh boy! Well, do tell.
Back where I went to college, Delaware Valley College of Science and Agriculture. There was a professor there. His name was, well, maybe I shouldn't use the name. He is now deceased, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. But this was, he taught apiculture, which is the culture of bees.
And it's called April?
Apiculture,
Apiculture.
API. You know, and an apiary is where bees are kept. So apiculture is the study of raising bees. Anyway, this story is continually handed down from each generation of students. So this individual was not there when I was at college, but the stories, the story was handed down. Well, the students were out in the field working with the bees one day. You know, they had hives at the college. Mm-hmm. And this instructor said, now, there's no reason to get alarmed or scared about the bees stinging you. Just go about your business and everything will be fine. If you do get stung, there's only one reason for that. And so the people in the class said, well, what's the reason? He says, because you're stupid. Oh, okay, so all right. So they were out working the bees one day, and here comes a bee, lands right on the professor's nose and stings him. And he acted like it was nothing. He just went on work. He wasn't going to admit that he got stung. So that story kept on.
Because he didn't want to admit that he was stupid.
That's right.
Well, I think most of us that's ever spent any time outside, we have been stung by bees, and typically it's wasp and yellow jackets that will sting. Honeybees will, but one tip of advice: if you're not a beekeeper, if you're ever out in a location where beehives are at, don't go close by, because if you don't give them any reason to come to you, you won't have to worry about it. But bees are very, very useful, and I would venture to say that the rewards of the bee far more exceed in pollination than it does the reward of the honey.
Right.
Although honey is very tasteful and very enjoyable, but just when the bees pollinate, it helps the crops more or less yield more, than without, the bee.
Yeah, you'll get larger. Usually with fruits and vegetables, you'll get larger fruit, you'll get more fruit, and you'll get much more even, much better shaped fruits and vegetables as well.
And I know, Carl, that in the past you have had some different pictures of different things that the problem was poor pollination.
Right. You get in cucumbers bottlenecking, which refers to incomplete pollination on one end of the cucumber. The other end you have good pollination. So on that end, you have a full complement of seeds, whereas the bottleneck or constricted part of the cucumber, you have very little seeds produced.
And also, when it's something like that, not only is the vegetable or fruit unattractive, it's not very tasty. So pollination has a big, big role in production. But I think all of us has a role in to help, the bee population survive. Now, I'm not saying if you've got a wasp nest or a yellow jacket's nest, don't get rid of it. But, honeybees, or there's a lot more good in them than harm. And I think you just have to be mindful of whenever you are spraying pesticides, be mindful of any bee colonies that may be around as far as beehives and things. And I know Carl has strongly suggested over the years to use a water-soluble 7 rather than the 7 Dust, because when you use 7 Dust on your plants, if a honeybee should light on it, he can get the 7 Dust on his body and take it back to the hive and affect the entire hive. So
Right.
again, if you're interested in beekeeping, the first meeting will be January 14th at the Person County Office Building. Call that address again for the website
Is www.personcountybeekeepers.org, or you can call the extension office and ask for Debbie Harrelson at 599-1195, and she can sign you up if you like.
We'll get in and get to talking about some useful things on the show. But right now, we'll take a quick break and we'll take a trip down to Oxford and stop in at Sandling Golf Cars. They're ready for the Christmas season. They've got some super specials going on. Got a big, huge amount of golf cars, utility trailers. So just head on down and see them at Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. That's Sandling Golf Cars. Are you in need of a trailer? Sandling Golf Cars has master tow utility trailers and tow dollies, dump trailers and equipment trailers up to 32 foot that can handle 20,000 pounds by load trail. You can also get Calico stock trailers and Pace enclosed trailers up to 24 foot at Sandling Golf Cars. So if you have something to haul, most likely you can find the trailer you need at Sandling Golf Cars. Some trailer payments start as low as $100 per month. See Al, Hillary, or Will for all of your trailer needs. Call Sandling Golf Cars at 919-693-4626 or toll free 1-800-221-9267 or log on to sandlinggolfcars.com. Or better yet, stop in and see the friendly folks in Oxford, just off the bypass at Sandling Golf Cars. Open weekdays 8 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Call 919-693-4626 or toll free 1-800-221-9267. Sandling Golf Cars is a Trojan battery dealer, and they also have a full line of club car and easy-go golf cars, parts, and they also offer repair service on just about any brand of golf car. It's grilling season, and you would enjoy grilling out on a Wilmington grill from Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Mr. Carl Cantalupi is our resident expert with the Person County and Granville County Extension Office. And
I just remembered something. We were talking about bees before. There is actually there's another type of bee that doesn't, it actually doesn't make honey. But if you've ever heard of the orchard mason bee.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, it's smaller than a honeybee. And you can, in fact, we have an information sheet at the Extension office that shows you how to build these little wooden houses to house the orchard mason bee. You just take a thin board and you drill holes in it, and they can use those holes to lay eggs and increase their population. But it's they are around, and they're native bees. Again, they don't make honey, but they serve as effective pollinators. The orchard mason bee.
Well, you know, Carl, I don't know how big of a business it is here in North Carolina, but I know in a lot of states, it's a lot of big farms that hire beekeepers to bring the hives out and put them on the farm,
Right.
you know, to help out with pollination.
Yeah, a lot of these beekeepers start in Florida, and they drop the hives off at growers' fields, and then as the crops are maturing further north, they take them and they just move further north throughout the season.
Well, it is really interesting. And we'll try to keep you reminded about that Person County Beekeepers meeting
Mm-hmm.
up until the meeting coming up on January 14th. Carl, let's talk just a little bit about the time of the year that it is. A lot of people has started, putting up Christmas trees.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any helpful hints for someone that may be searching and looking for a Christmas tree? Things that they need to be aware of and things to look for?
Right. And we touched on this the last time a little bit, but it's worth repeating. If you buy a Christmas tree, if you want to go to a tree lot that has cut Christmas trees, make sure that they are grown in North Carolina, so that you can at least be assured of getting a fresh tree, one that is locally grown, and by that we mean one that is grown in the mountains of North Carolina, as compared to growing in other states. You'll get a fresher tree, and the Fraser fir is probably the most popular ones tree that people select. Although you can use others. Other people go out to their woods and use those trees, but there are different varieties other than the Fraser fir, but I think that's the one that people associate with it for the most part. Run your hand around through the branch if you're buying it at a lot. Make sure that the needles are resilient, and go ahead and make sure that you buy a stand that's large enough to hold a tree, so that you can put fresh water into that stand. Actually, before you get the tree home, you should make another fresh cut, and then put it in the stand right away. And make sure that you monitor that every day, because mature trees can drink upwards of a quart of water per day.
Well, Carl, it seems that typically every Christmas season you hear on the news about someone has lost their home due to the Christmas tree catching on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Carl has some ideas that will help prevent this from happening. And as he just mentioned, the biggest thing, never let your Christmas tree give out of water. And also some other tips pertaining to the lights about the lights that you use on the tree.
You make sure they're in good shape, and then they're not old, and the wires aren't frayed, because you don't want a fire. I read stories of years ago they actually used to hang candles on the Christmas tree.
Well, the North Carolina News Network, typically on Christmas Day, they in place of the news, they have Christmas traditions, and they talk about that, to where they used to have candles on the Christmas tree,
Mm-hmm.
but they would always have an attendant close by to douse the flames should it set the tree on fire. A couple of other helpful hints: have your Christmas tree plugged up to where the outlet is easy accessible. Always unplug your Christmas tree before going to bed, and only have your Christmas tree plugged up, illuminated, when you are there in the house.
Right.
Because you certainly do not want to have a fire, with being started by your Christmas tree. And Carl, I maybe have told you this tale, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show or not, but I happened to meet a lady and her companion, her husband, or a boyfriend, I don't know which it was, but I guess maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and we got to talking, and she used to live up in Madison, North Carolina. And
Which is where?
up towards Greensboro.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she was telling me that she had lost her home to a fire.
Mm.
And we just got to talking about it, and I told her that when I was a young child, that we lost our home to a fire, and a fire is very devastating. But I went on to ask her about what happened, and she said that they had left the Christmas tree up, and this was in January, and she said that they had a little candle sitting on a table, and she said in the process of taking the decorations off of the Christmas tree, the Christmas tree ended up tipping over and fell over on top of that candle.
Oh boy.
And she said when it done that, she said it was like a tinderbox. She said it just exploded into flames, and she was very fortunate to get out of the house without getting, burned or losing her life.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, make sure that you keep plenty of water in your Christmas tree stand. Do not let it give out of water, and do not have any open flames no time around your Christmas tree.
Right. All good tips. I pulled up some information on the different types of Christmas trees that you can use, and as we said, Fraser fir has all the qualities of an excellent Christmas tree, such as fragrance, good needle retention, and freshness. Its strong limbs will also hold ornaments well. White pine is a softer textured tree with more pliable limbs than those of the Fraser fir. Its needles are somewhat longer than most other Christmas tree species, but they retain their needles well. Virginia pine has the good qualities of the pine, such as fragrance, needle retention, and suitability for ornaments. Some people prefer red cedar because it has been a traditional southern Christmas tree. Red cedar has a nice fragrance, but its flexible limbs will not support many or very heavy ornaments. And also, red cedar may dry rapidly in a warm house if it's not well watered. So those are some of the ones that are others that are available.
One other thing, just if you have inside pets, try to keep them away from the Christmas tree.
Right.
Because if they chew on electric cords, it could cause harm to them, and also it could start a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, have you all put up y'all's Christmas tree yet?
No, not yet.
We have not either at home. And I noticed over the Thanksgiving holiday, I noticed a lot of people, up and down the road that had that tree and things, and nothing wrong with that. But Carl, if you would explain what kind of happens if you let your Christmas tree stand give out of water.
Okay. If you let it give out of water, what happens is that air is drawn up into the tree and through the vascular system, and then it makes it more difficult for the tree to extract more water. So make sure that you add enough warm water to the Christmas tree stand. You don't have to worry about adding different concoctions of sugar and liquid iron and all this other kind of stuff and bleach. Just good warm water is fine. Make sure that the butt of the tree is covered, and keep an eye on the tree. Don't let the water level fall below the butt of the tree. So keep the stand filled. Also make sure that you have a stand that's large enough to accommodate the tree, because I said this before, I found out the hard way by buying a stand that's too small for the tree, and resulting in the tree that fell over. So you don't want that to happen.
Now, Carl, back up. You said warm water?
Yeah. It's absorbed faster up into the tree.
So warm water is best to use in the Christmas tree stand.
That's right.
All right, some interesting information. Some other Christmas plants, the poinsettia.
Right.
They are beautiful plants, and if you look after them, they will stay in full bloom throughout the Christmas season, correct?
Right, and you can even have them bloom, keep the red leaves longer, almost until the time you can actually plant them outside in your garden in the spring. And let's see here. Here we'll go to the poinsettia story here. Actually, this goes back to a story written by Virginia Smith, the Philadelphia Inquirer staff writer, back in 2014. Philadelphia and the poinsettia go back almost 200 years, but the relationship has never been exclusive. It involves a raft of iconic names and institutions in the city's lengthy horticulture history. Let's see, I'll skip some of this here. As early as the 14th century, the beautiful native Central American plant we know as the poinsettia was called a tongue-twisting Quetzalcoatl by the Aztecs. The showy red flowers, technically modified leaves or bracts, were also used to make a reddish-purple dye. The plant's milky sap was said to reduce fever. And in the 16th and 17th centuries, these winter-blooming perennials in the euphorbia or spurge plant family were commonly used in Christmas rituals in Mexico, which is where, in 1828, they caught the eye of Joel Roberts Poinsett, for whom they would later be known. A prominent South Carolina politician with a botanical bent, Poinsett was the first U.S. minister to newly independent Mexico. He began collecting cuttings and sending them to friends, including those at Bartram's Garden, the famous commercial nursery founded by John Bartram in 1728 on the banks of the Schuylkill River. Let's see here. We'll go a little further in this here. In 1860, Thomas Meehan, a British-born plantsman who ran a nursery in Germantown, Pennsylvania, wrote in his Gardener's Monthly, "The poinsettia sells quite well." Buyers, Evans says, were regular middle-class gardeners who placed plants on their windowsill or in greenhouses if they had them. From 1900 through the 1990s, poinsettias basically went viral, thanks to the Ecke family of Encinitas, California, whose secret grafting techniques produce lush, compact plants, most unlike the weedy Mexican variety that grew 10 to 15 feet tall. The Eckes bred fantastic colors, leaf shapes, and sizes, and they marketed like mad, supplying free plants to popular TV shows and the women's magazines, whose poinsettia-filled photo shoots reinforced its reputation as the Christmas plant. So there's a little bit of history there. Let's see here. Some other interesting tips here. So that's I would say that's about it. We pause for National Poinsettia Day, created in 2002 in honor of Poinsett, who died on this day in 1851. So there's some history of the poinsettia.
What date does it say of the National Poinsettia Day is?
No.
It does not say.
No, it doesn't say.
Well, Carl, while you were talking about the poinsettia, it made me think of something, and I may have a couple of things kind of mixed up. If I was to say Christmas cactus to you, does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that's a different plant.
So now the lights blinked. The Christmas cactus is something that blooms if everything is just right at Christmas time.
Well, okay. There's two there's two kinds of plants. There's the Christmas cactus, and there's also the Thanksgiving cactus. They both have similar. The leaf shape is slightly different. Let's take a look here. Talk a little about the Christmas cactus. The Christmas and Thanksgiving cactus are native to the jungles of South America. They grow on other plants and use them for support. Let's see. And flowering generally will not occur unless it's induced by temperature or light. And with Christmas cactus and Thanksgiving cactus, the leaves of the plant are kind of flat, and they have points on the end, and then a pink or reddish flower protrudes out the end. If the temperature is held at 50 to 55 degrees, flowering will occur regardless of day length. Temperatures below 50 prevent flowering. Night temperatures greater than, or I should say nights greater than 12 hours long, and temperatures between 59 to 69 degrees can also generate flowers. 25 consecutive long nights is enough for flower initiation, and it takes an additional 9 to 10 weeks for flowers to complete development and bloom. So if you have, Christmas cactuses that you can actually start to see the little buds at the ends of the leaves, you know that they've either they've satisfied their light requirement or their temperature requirement.
Okay. We need to get a word on for T.G. Brooks Company, one of our fine supporting sponsors here on the Gardener's Corner program. It's the Christmas season, and every year at this time, Bill and Roy Brooks, get together and come up with the top 10 Christmas gift ideas. They can be found at T.G. Brooks Company. Here's more information.
It's time for the T.G. Brooks Company Top 10 Gift Suggestions for Christmas with Bill and Roy Brooks. Let's hear from T.G. Brooks now and our annual Top 10 for 2015 from Bill and Roy Brooks.
Number 10 on our list this Christmas are our ribeye steaks and hoop cheese. Always a great addition and great gifts at Christmas.
Number 9 this year, Dave, is gas heaters and burner for cooking those many items.
Number 8, we always have them. They're good for everything, gift certificates. You can get them right here in any denomination you want.
Number 7, make Mom in the yard look good with some fresh mulch.
We also have a new addition this year, a new line of flashlights and magnetic flashlights and slide flashlights by Nebo. Several different styles, all LED, great lights.
Number 5, always a favorite, snow sleds. We have the plastic ones and the wood ones.
Number 4 this year is always a favorite, cast iron cookware. Great selection, always a hit during the winter. It's very versatile, great gifts.
Number 3, infrared electric heaters for those cool evenings to knock the chill off.
Number 2 is always one we always love, case pocket knives. Great selection, and it's always a gift that everybody always looks forward to.
And number 1 is country hams. People are already starting to buy them. It's time of the year for the ham.
Hey, there you go. The top 10 from T.G. Brooks Company. The top 10 gift suggestions. 411 Helena Maria Road in Timberlake. Stop on in. Bill and Roy Brooks. And our annual top 10 from T.G. Brooks Company.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. We appreciate our sponsors, T.G. Brooks Company. Just heard a word from them. We also heard earlier from Sandling Golf Cars. In just a few minutes, we'll be hearing from Goins Auctioneering. They've got an auction coming up on December the 12th and December the 19th. The one coming up on December the 12th is in Bailey, North Carolina, and then the one coming up on December the 19th is in Wake Forest. You can log on to gowingsauctionsinc.com, but we'll give you more information on that coming up in just a few minutes. Well, Carl, we've got a few more minutes here on the Gardener's Corner program, and I'm noticing some of the questions that you had, I guess, posed to your master gardener.
Right. Oh,
students.
and a reminder on that, we graduated 18 Master Gardeners in Granville County and 13 in Person County.
Wow, well, congratulations to all of them.
So we'll meet in the spring, and they will, we'll have a meeting of the minds, and they can decide what they would like to do.
Well, that's neat. So, with Person and Granville counties combined, 31 graduating
Yeah, that's
members.
right. Mm-hmm.
So that's terrific. It sure is.
Yeah, yeah.
And for those of you that are saying, what in the world is your Master Gardeners course? It is a course that Carl teaches. It starts in September and runs through November. And I think this was, the second or third year of the
Third
Master
year.
Gardeners?
Actually started in 2013, so this was the third year.
So, if that's something you'd be interested in, it's no charge to take the course, although they have some informational materials. You don't have to, have them, but if you do, it's a small cost for those. But just be mindful, and somewhere about July, you need to be contacting either the Granville or Person County Extension Office and say, I'd like some information on the Master Gardeners course. And,
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Because it will start up in September.
Right. So let's see. I guess we can talk about some things people can do in the outside right now, just to be sure that you're on schedule. We're in November now, so.
No, we're actually in December.
In December.
Time flies, man.
That's right. That's right. Fertilization of lawns, cool season lawns should have been completed by now. You really don't want to add any nitrogen now. We've gone past the point of the nitrogen being taken up by the root system of the plant. Of course, now soil testing. It's going to cost $4 a sample to send in soil up until the end of March, just so that you know that. And I'm trying to think. I got a thought that just went through my head, and it just went in and went out.
Speaking of the soil samples, I spoke with someone that delivered their own soil samples over to the Department of Agriculture, and they said that the back dock was just absolutely packed full, and they're talking about a 5 to 6 week turnaround.
That's right, because I was down there a week or two ago, and it was already 3 to 4 week turnaround. So, yeah, it's everybody made the mad scramble to get them in, but lawn activity should be finished. Weed control activity in the lawn should be finished as well. If you have a cabbage, cauliflower, or broccoli plants still in the garden, go ahead and harvest those if they're mature, because they won't be killed by a frost. They can actually take it down to about 26 degrees. But if the temperature gets cold and remains cold, you're not going to get much growth out of those plants. So if you have those that are nearing maturity, it's a good idea to go ahead and pick those at this time.
Carl, a quick tale about broccoli, cabbage, and
Cauliflower.
collards.
Oh, all right.
Well, we actually planted some collards, and they done pretty well, and we had some of them to eat over Thanksgiving. Well, then we planted some broccoli and cabbage. Well, we have yard chickens that roam freely in the yard. Well, the chickens do not necessarily enjoy the collard plants, but they really enjoy the cabbage and the broccoli plants.
Oh.
So it was a wipeout for us on the broccoli and cabbage, but the collard plants done pretty well. So I thought that was pretty interesting how they would, eat some of them, but they wouldn't hardly touch the collards, and but I was really hoping to have some good luck with the broccoli and also the cabbage, but unfortunately we did not. But anyway, the old expression, and I used to hear one of the guys at the produce auction use this slogan from time to time, and it's true, and he would say, you win some, you lose some.
That's right.
So we need to get a word on for Goins Auctions, and we'll be back to wrap up this pre-recorded edition of the Gardeners Corner program. And as mentioned, good Lord willing, we should be live back in the studio next Friday. But here's a word from Goins Auctions. Mr. Greg Goins of Goins Auctioneering, NCAL 390, announces an auction for Saturday, December 12th at 10 a.m., located 2725 Height Lane in Wake Forest. Up for auction, heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, and other equipment of Height Construction Company. This auction Saturday, December 12th at 10 a.m., the sale site and address, 2725 Height Lane in Wake Forest. Log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com for photographs and more information, or call Greg Goins with Goins Auctioneering at 252-578-1623. This auction taking place on Saturday, December 12th at 10 a.m. at 2725 Height Lane in Wake Forest. For more information, call Greg Goins at 252-578-1623 or log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com. All right, here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Mr. Carl Cantalupi, our resident expert, is here with us today. Carl, I guess we've got maybe about 3 or 4 minutes left on the program today. What would you like to spend that last amount of time talking about?
I know what my thought was before. For people that have either elms, birches, maples, or dogwoods, now would be a time, if you want to do some pruning on those trees, to go ahead, because these are the ones that we call the bleeders. And so if you prune now, the sap will not drip as it will in the spring. So elms, birches, maples, dogwoods can be pruned at this time, and then don't do heavy pruning of other shrubs anymore, because trees or shrubs, because we don't want to make them less acclimated to colder temperatures. And if you prune heavily other plants at this time, it forces them to get winter injury later on. And so this is why we want to delay pruning as well as long as we can, right up until new growth starts. So with most plants, late February, early March is good, with the exception of plants, of course, that bloom on last year's wood, such as azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons, forsythia. You definitely don't want to prune these plants at that time, but wait until the flowering is over and then do a severe pruning at that time.
So again, birches, elms, maples, and dogwoods.
Right, can be pruned now.
Now, okay, it's a good time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we appreciate you all tuning in to the Gardeners Corner program today, and special thanks goes out to our sponsors, Goins Auctions, T.G. Brooks Company, and Sandling Golf Cars. We hope that you found some of the information on the show today helpful and useful. And again, if you have a question for Carl, you can call up to the Person County Cooperative Extension Service Office at 336-599-1195. Speak with Carl in person or leave a message and he will return your call. Right. And also, we would like to, encourage you at your leisure to log on to RadioRoxboro.com to watch past editions of the Gardeners Corner program. Again, that's RadioRoxboro.com. On behalf of myself, Mr. Carl Cantalupi, Mr. David Bratcher Jr., as we affectionately know him as Kilby, thank y'all for tuning in to the Gardeners Corner program. Carl, thank you
Thanks,
for what
Rob.
you do.
Thank you, Rob.
If it wasn't for you, the show wouldn't be possible.
Well, we're fortunate to have a good radio station here, radio and TV, that works with Cooperative Extension, so we're very fortunate for that.
It's a two-way street,
That's
and I think
right.
it works well.
Mm-hmm.
With that, we'll bid you our farewell, and we want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week with a live edition of the Gardeners Corner program.